Welcome to Transmissions, where we talk all Hasbro, Takara, and third-party Transformers. On this episode, we're joined by special guest, comic book artist, and colorist Thomas Deere. We get a tease of a new third-party Metroplex on the horizon, Hasbro Studio Series branches out into video games, and we check out the highlights from last weekend's TFcon LA. Today is Wednesday, March 15th, 2023, and this is episode 529 of Transmissions.
Welcome to Transmissions, the podcast that, after seeing everyone's pictures from TFcon LA, has booked an appointment for therapy, because the FOMO is real. I'm your host, Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Super cool comic book colorist, Thomas Deere.
Hey, guys.
And Daryl, the Cybertronian beast.
Hello. Let's talk Transformers.
All right. We've got a special guest in the house today. So Thomas Deere, awesome colorist from IDW, done cover art as well. Lots of cool projects we worked on over the years. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for inviting me. Happy to be here.
Yeah. And we're going to jump right into toy talk here on the main show, but stick around for Transmissions Alt Mode. That'll be up Friday, and we do a deep dive with Mr. Thomas Deere. We go into his backstory, his origin story, all the good stuff. Some tea about Dreamwave, the latter days of Dreamwave. So, lots of interesting stuff to talk about. How Thomas got his start in doing comic book art. So, really cool. We may have already recorded it.
Give away our secrets.
All right. As always, we start the show by thanking our Donatreons, those lovely people who support us on Patreon and PayPal. You guys are awesome. We really appreciate the support and helping us keep the show going. If you are not a Donatron and would like to become one, just go to transmissionspodcast.com/support. That's where you can sign up. This week, we are welcoming a brand new patron, or Donatron, I should say, James. James, thank you for signing up. We really appreciate your support. And we hope you are enjoying all the extra bonus content that you now have access to. So check that out on our Patreon page. There's lots of cool stuff there. And, check it out and hopefully enjoy it. So, of course, one of the things we've got is Daryl's awesome bonus show, We Like Big Bots. Him and Dr. Pants go through really cool giant robots in the Transformers franchise. Transformers has lots of characters, but some characters are just larger than life. And those are the ones that Daryl and Dr. Pants go over on We Like Big Bots. So there's 10 bonus episodes already available for your viewing pleasure. Enjoy those. More will be on the way as soon as Dr. Pants is able to record again. We're eagerly awaiting his return. But for right now, we've got those 10 episodes out there to keep you happy. So, Daryl, any one of your favorites out there that people should check out?
Oh, I mean, I really enjoyed Devastator. When we talked about Devastator, I think I have like 7 Devastators. So to go through those, and they are some of the most cumbersome figures to mess around with, especially that Studio Series Devastator. You forget that it's there until you're like, oh yeah, that's a Devastator. And then you try and, finagle that thing onto the screen and you realize, no, it's like a giant quadruped. It's not meant to be held, in the air. So yeah, it was a fun one to do, but I'm more partial to the green, G1 Devastator, but I've got a bunch of those, and Dr. Pants has a bunch, and it's just the epitome of just like G1-ness. I think it's just ridiculousness. These giant construction vehicles, combining, and I just loved it. So yeah, that's probably one of my favorites, and a giant big bot. So
Cool. All right. Also, we other content we've got is our Transformers Live Play RPG podcast, and that's Empire of Rust. That's done by our awesome producer and editor Mike and his crew. They are inching towards episode 100. So this week we have episode 97. Assume the party escort submission position. So this is 3 more episodes until episode 100. You can check out Empire of Rust on the main feed at transmissionspodcast.com/rust. That's where all the episodes are. It is in our main podcast feed. So if you are subscribed to that, you will get those episodes as they come out. This week is the regular episode in the feed. Although next week you get the bonus episode. That's the early uncut version of episode 98 that comes out a week early. That's only for Donatron. So that will be up on our Patreon page. But if you are just listening to the main feed, you still got to wait another week for episode 98. So since it's on a bi-weekly schedule. So, but if you are a Donatron, if you sign up, you can get them a week early. So, something to consider. All right. So I think that's all our announcements. So let's get into some toy talk.
All right. And we're going to start off this week by talking about Kang Toys and their CY-Mini-05 Thor Mini. This is, so we've talked about it before. They did their giant, Predaking figure that's like 7 or 8 figures, and it's amazing. It looks awesome. They're also doing it in gold, which we've talked about before, but they're now doing a tiny little version of it, and this is another one of the figures for that. And it's just a downscaled version of their original, masterpiece scaled one, and this is the gorilla component. We've discussed this before, that Predaking now has a gorilla in it. But this is necessary for the figure to have, a good, stable waist. And so, yeah, this is Predaking's pants. It's a nice, big, chunky gorilla that turns into Predaking's pants, and it's necessary for the transformation. But this is for the mini version, the legend scale version of the figure, and it's just awesome. I think this is probably more in people's their scale, their price range that they want to do. But it's definitely a very cool figure. So look for this where you buy your legend scale figures.
Is this? Is it kind of look like Optimus Primal? At least the robot mode looks a little bit like Optimus Primal.
Definitely does.
It does.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, speaking of Optimus Primal, we've got the. This is a new version of the Kingdom Optimus Primal and Megatron figures. It's being released as a 2-pack in Japan by Takara, and this is the Eternal Beast Showdown. So I believe these are getting new paint decos for these characters. So they're looking a lot more shiny. So a lot, looking a lot closer to their computer animation models from the Beast Wars show. Those eyes are a little terrifying on Optimus Primal there. But these look pretty cool. I think for folks in Japan who are fans of Beast Wars, I think these are pretty nice looking decos for these Kingdom figures. So it looks pretty cool.
All right, and up next, another legend scale figure. Look at me having all the legends fun today. This is from a new company, and I think their name is just Y. Just Y? I don't.
Use Hobbyland.
Is that?
Oh,
I guess it
Oh no,
might
that's
just be use. I don't know. It doesn't matter. The point of the story is not who's making it. The point of it is that it's a legend scale Metroplex. And this is something that when I read this, I thought, holy crap, why hasn't this been done before? And we've gotten like chibi ones before, but if this is a legit legend scale Metroplex, then, I might be into it. The story is saying that it's 45 centimeters tall with 20 points of articulation. And for you Americans out there, 45 centimeters is just over 17 and a half inches. That's in your Neanderthal measurements. So it's pretty big for legend scale. That's yeah. So on my desk here, that's about right here. So my desk is, you can't see it. So what am I trying to describe to you here? There. Can you see that? That's pretty big. Yeah. So
it's a legend scaled city.
Is that comparable to the Generations Metroplex, like in terms of size?
I mean, I guess I've got it there.
Well, Generations Metroplex was over 2 feet, right? He's
thing is I think Generations Metroplex is in scale with Legends figures. So, but it's a neat thing to have. This Legend scale Metroplex. I looking at it, it looks very detailed. It looks really blocky, right? So it looks a lot more G1 accurate than I think most Legend scale figures that are being made today are putting up that the better kind of articulation. 20 points of articulation on a figure this large doesn't seem like enough. They should be more, should be capable of doing more. But this is still really early. This is still like, CAD, images, some computer generated, prototype imagery. And there's a good chance this may not even come out. So anyway, this is something that's, a little bit of news, made a little bit of had people talking this week, but we'll see how far it goes.
Okay, next up, this is a shout out for Jeremy, who couldn't be here this week, but Canon, we've got the Nemesis Prime version of the Optimus Prime Canon camera. So it's got the all black. It's got a evil matrix and the black with teal highlights, just like every good Nemesis Prime / Scourge should look. And then it's got the camera mode. And yeah, I mean, I think when we saw these Canon Transformers last year, I don't think we were too impressed. I think we're still not that impressed, but Nemesis Prime, maybe this will be enough for Jeremy to bite on it, since it's got the Nemesis Prime colors. Well, because he is.
There'd be 3 of them though.
I mean, I'm surprised they didn't do like a proper reflector. I mean, they did reflector, but not like the G1-ified reflector. So
it seems like a missed opportunity.
Yeah. And Optimus Prime just doesn't seem like a good fit for for a camera mode, but here it is.
And won't the Matrix be in every single picture? What a terrible placement for the Matrix. Like a terrible camera.
Why does he have a little tiny camera? He has his own little camera. Oh, well. Yeah, I mean, so for anyone who's really into Canon cameras and Transformers, I guess this is a win, but I think this is only being sold in Japan. I don't think this is being marketed outside of Japan. So I guess I hope Canon is getting the marketing push that they want out of this. I mean, at this point, cameras are kind of, at least if you're not a professional photographer, cameras are kind of, you're not, no one's buying cameras anymore, like with smartphones everywhere. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. enjoy your Nemesis Prime camera.
All right, and lastly, for our section here, we've got, and I remember something about this before, but it's X-Transbot's Bulwark. This is a masterpiece scaled G1ified bulkhead. And, you know, Charles, you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember something like this being a TFcon exclusive. Maybe it was done by another company, but I seem to recall this thing being around. But anyway, it's X-Transbots, and we're now getting product shots of this bulkhead, and it is based off of the figure they've done a bunch of times, the Dante and Da Vinci, which is their Inferno or Grapple figures. I believe they've also done that figure as an Art Fire, and the light green one, what's his nuts called? I don't know what he's called.
Hauler.
Hauler, that one. Yeah, so I think they've done this figure a bunch of different times. But anyway, this one is definitely getting the bulkhead head and a big giant kind of cargo trailer type dealio on his back, which really does suit the bulkhead character from animated, and the way it transforms really kind of suits that character as well. The toy really does lend itself to a G1ified, look, and yeah, I can see it. I can see the G1 bulkhead here, a lot more than what we got with the mainline, actually. Yeah.
All right. All right, that's all our quick hits. So let's go on to our main topic. All right. Well, we got some big news this week. Finally, it was revealed the next Studio Series figures. And we had some speculation. We had some teases a couple weeks ago. We weren't sure what it was going to be. We had speculation as to what War for Cybertron was going to be. And it turns out it was the 10-year-old video game. So the video game designs from Transformers War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron, which is not the Netflix War for Cybertron show. Those designs are very different. But these were kind of the first Hasbro push for true Cybertronian modes in their Transformers characters. I mean, I know we had some of the War Within, those titanium figures from a few years before that were based on the Don Figueroa designs from War Within. But here we had a whole Transformers toy line of Cybertronian modes, and it was, all taken from these two video games that were out on and available everywhere, and everyone was playing them. And it was, I never got a chance to finish the video games, but the graphics were cool. It was cool. You got to play as lots of different characters. You got to play on both sides, Autobots and Decepticons. So those were cool video games, and now we've got the designs from those games. So the first 3 Studio Series figures are Barricade, Optimus Prime, and Bumblebee. And so these are available for pre-order now, and you can check out these designs. Barricade is interesting because I don't think they did have a toy of Barricade that was released back when the games were out. But it's interesting.
I don't remember Barricade even being in the game.
Yeah, I don't remember either, but I think he was. But it's interesting that they picked his character. And then Bumblebee, of course, Bumblebee's everywhere. This was back when Bumblebee was still not talking, so you had to align with the movies and the Transformers Prime universe, where Bumblebee has lost his voice, so he wasn't talking in the game at all. But you could play as him and transform and drive around as him. And then Optimus Prime, of course, had that unique design, and you got to play as him in the game too. And this version of Optimus Prime has of course, every new Optimus Prime these days has to come with a chest that opens and has the Matrix inside. So that I don't think that was a feature of the original War for Cybertron toy that was out from 10 years ago. But otherwise, these look pretty good. Daryl, what do you think of these figures? Was this a surprise for you?
Well, I remember we were talking probably a year or maybe more a while back when we were trying to figure out what Studio Series 86 was. And the speculation that we kind of came up with is that the movie line was going to run out of figures at some point, and they were going to need to come up with some way to extend it. And what better way than going back and doing the animated movie, right? This thing was full of characters and they could go on for years if they wanted to. Well, they obviously have people talking about, well, they don't want to go on with just the 86 movie. They want other characters. They want other figures that aren't just the same G1 characters regurgitated through the Studio Series line. And I get that. The G1 characters are everywhere else. But these figures are iconic to the 2 video games that High Moon put out. These are by far the high watermark for Transformers video games, and people still are asking for a proper sequel. Yeah, it got a sequel by another company, like Revenge of the Spark or Rise of the Spark.
Rise of the Dark Spark, I think.
Rise of the Dark Spark. Yes, I own it, and I don't know the name of it. and it's not great. But those 2 first video games, War of Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron, are unparalleled in the fan community as being the best Transformers video games. And yeah, I've played them both. I've beat them both. They're great games, and the character designs are very unique. And these toys are going to do exceptionally well in Studio Series. The first time that they brought out toys for these video games, they did well. The first time for War of Cybertron, they weren't actually labeled as the game toys. They were just kind of lumped in with the Generations toy line and just labeled as Cybertronian Optimus Prime and Cybertronian Bumblebee. When Fall of Cybertron came out, they actually had a dedicated line of Generation toys for this video game, and they did the marketing right. But these toys, these look amazing, and I still have all the toys that I bought for the original release in the Generations line and in the Fall of Cybertron line, because they're just such great figures. I'm not sure how many of these I'm going to get, because it's going to be doubling up on a lot of the characters from those first line. But people that have gotten into these games late deserve the opportunity to get figures of these toys, because they were, like I said, extremely unique designs with that pulled off some incredible transformations. I don't know if you've ever experienced that War for Cybertron Optimus Prime that this one's based on, but the original one, it's a tough transformation. It's like 40 steps, and like in a deluxe. So it's incredible. So I'm looking forward to seeing these, messing with 1 or 2, and if I can get my hands on them without buying them first. But they're going to be a wait and see for me, because I have the existing ones already. But they look great. They really do.
Yeah. Yeah, my son, I think, was about 6 years old. He's 16 now, so 10 years ago he was 6 years old, and I got him, like, there was a 3-pack of Megatron, Optimus Prime, and Bumblebee, and I got that for him for his birthday, and he liked them, but those are toys those were not collector's items. Those were toys that got played with, and they they disappeared into the bin somewhere. But he had fun with them. Thomas, what do you think of these characters? Did you get to play the video games back in the day, or did you have any interest in them?
Oh, absolutely. I was such a big fan of both games. I don't think I finished Fall of Cybertron, but War of Cybertron, I definitely finished. I collected the toys. I still have probably most of them. My favorite figure from War of Cybertron was I had the Takara version of Starscream, and it was such a beautiful toy, shiny. The colors were a little bit darker, I think, than the regular Hasbro release. But I still have that figure. I love that figure. These new renditions look pretty cool. Definitely that Optimus Prime and Bumblebee. I'm really digging. I would have traded in Barricade for Starscream if it was up to me, but we'll hopefully see Starscream in maybe a future wave of these toys. And I'm kind of happy that we're seeing a nod to Fall of Cybertron, War of Cybertron, because it was such a good era in the fandom, and I'm happy to return to it. I don't know if I'll pick them up. I think I'm running out of some shelf space, but I might have to check with my son. He might make me pick up that Bumblebee.
Yeah, I mean, that also 2012, 2013, that was right around the time when More Than Meets the Eye and Robots in Disguise were getting started, and they had Andrew Griffith use these War for Cybertron designs as the redesigns for the characters in Robots in Disguise. So yeah, that was definitely if not the golden age, a golden age of Transformers at that time.
Yeah, I remember getting assigned Rage of the Dinobots at the time, which was supposed to take place in the War of Cybertron universe, but then and then they told us that it was going to be Transformers Prime. So some of the characters in that Rage of the Dinobots were the War of Cybertron molds, but it's supposed to be later in the Transformers Prime universe.
Interesting, yeah. Mm-hmm. So did they have to modify the designs for that a little bit, like or try to align them a little bit with Transformers Prime?
There was a handful of characters that looked like Transformers Prime characters, but if I remember right, the Shockwave and the Grimlock were War of Cybertron toys.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
I could be wrong, but that's how I remember it.
That's neat. Yeah, because I mean that was the time also that was the aligned continuity where everything was supposed to be in the same universe, right? Like Transformers Prime, the video games, everything was supposed to be the same continuity.
And they had somebody write like the official story, right? It was called Exodus. You guys remember that book?
Yeah,
it was by a guy named Alex Irvin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that was supposed to chronicle the official lore of the Transformers. I still have that book somewhere. I'll finish it someday.
I think Jeremy's read the whole trilogy there. I think he says they're pretty good. So here's a recommendation from him.
Do you think bringing this back up to like the forefront, these figures and the game, imagery, do you think they might be, thinking about putting another game in that universe?
I'd love that personally, but I have a feeling that a lot of fans are starting to get a little tired of G1. Especially after the Netflix series. I think that fans might be interested in something a little bit different, but I hope so.
Yeah. I mean, I think we have the Transformers Reactivate game coming soon, so I think that's if that's any indication, it doesn't seem like they're following up these games anytime soon, unfortunately. But we'll see. Before we move on, we did get a little bit of commentary from our editor and producer Mike, Snazzy Mike, on the Discord. He put in a comment because we asked him if he was going to make it. He unfortunately couldn't make it tonight, but he wanted to leave some comments. So here's his thoughts on the Studio Series War for Cybertron. Hey guys, since I wasn't going to be on, I wanted to give my thoughts on the War for Cybertron stuff that was revealed. I love the Prime, but I'm a little worried that they simplified the transformation too much. We'll see, but the big draw of the original for me is the complexity of the transformation. So there you go, Daryl. He liked it. He wanted those 40 steps.
Yep.
B is looking good in car mode, but a little boxy in bot mode. It may be more accurate to give to the game, but it doesn't look as streamlined / smooth compared to the original. Barricade is an interesting choice because we never had one originally. The overall design looks neat, but it doesn't really match the game appearance. It seems reminiscent of the sideswipe design from Fall of Cybertron, but this shows they're willing to do new characters. And I'm looking forward to the aerial bots from that one level, specifically Air Raid. I love that design. That being said, the extra stuff like the Matrix and arm weapons are cool callbacks and what I'd expect from a redo of that line. Here's hoping they keep these up. Looking forward to a new Megatron and a good set of Combaticons. So I think that's pretty fair. All right. Well, that's it for our toy talk. So we will move on to trips to the store.
The Transmissions Podcast will return after these messages.
Okay, trips to the store. This is where we get to show off some of the cool Transformer stuff we got this week. It's powered by our friends at TeePublic. So if you want to get some cool Transmissions merchandise, you can check out our TeePublic store. That's at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. You can get cool shirts like the one I'm wearing here. It's this is a Sound Blaster shirt with Transmissions logo on it. We've got other things there. Daryl, is that a transmission? I don't think that's a transmission shirt, Daryl. Put your shirt down.
Hockey Hall of Fame. It needs recognition.
I've been there.
It's a pretty cool place.
You can't get that on our shop. But yeah, if you want to help us out, go to and if you're buying anything from TeePublic, you can use our link, and that will help out the show. Even if you don't buy a transmission shirt, if you buy any shirt from TeePublic, just go through transmissionspodcast.com/shop. Also, wait for the sales at TeePublic. They do sales pretty regularly where you can get 35% off your shirt. So don't pay full price for the shirts at TeePublic. Definitely wait for the sale. But then use our link and give us a little help there. Okay, so we're gonna start off showing off the stuff we got this week. I'm gonna go first. So it is my birthday. Well, it was my birthday as we recorded this. Also, I share a birthday with Frank Welker. So happy birthday to Frank Welker and to me. So my wife has been known to really she does her homework when picking presents for me. She has, even though she is not into Transformers at all and kind of suffers through letting me do this podcast every week, but she still encourages my hobby and will pick up different things for me. So this is something that she picked out for me and held on to it for a long time. So if you guys remember at the end of the summer last year, the UK Royal Mail put out a set of Transformers stamps. These were the last stamps approved by Queen Elizabeth before she passed away, but they were Transformer stamps for the Royal Mail. And they had put out a bunch of other merchandise, prints and other things to go with those stamps, and to celebrate the artwork for Transformers comics in particular, because the UK Transformers comics were very big back in the 80s. And that was the nostalgia that our UK friends have, is the Transformers comics. In particular, one of the artists there, Andrew Wildman, who was big and also one of our fellow friends. Now he wasn't a colorist back in the 80s, but John Paul Bove, who's been doing colors recently for IDW for a long time, he got to work on these as well. And Trisha got me a framed print of the Optimus Prime and Megatron scenes there. So thank you to my wife Trisha for getting this for me and surprising me with it. So, and this is the Andrew Wildman art, John Paul Bove colors. Pretty awesome. If we get Andrew Wildman back at another TFcon, maybe I'll see if he can sign this. Although I don't know if I can get it out of the frame so he can sign it. That might be a little work. But
that's awesome.
This is really cool. So thank you again to my
Trisha
beautiful wife.
Is she taking it upon herself to fill your backdrop?
I think she is. So yeah, this is going to be up here somewhere. So I don't know if I put it up too high, I'll be out of the frame. But maybe over here somewhere.
You got to
somewhere
put it
back
on
here.
Put it on that dungeon door behind you.
No, but then if I lean back, I might smash it. I don't want that. I don't want anything to happen to it. But yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, very cool. All right, Tom, we're going to go to you next. So what do you got to show off?
Well, I feel shame that I haven't bought any Transformers in a while. I think I have exhausted as much space as I could dedicate to toys. But in recent months, I've been collecting a lot of Super 7 reaction figures. Unfortunately, they're not Transformers. They are G.I. Joes. So I'll just show a couple of my more recent acquisitions. So we have two different versions of Snake Eyes here. This one in particular was actually gifted to me at the last TFcon in Chicago by my buddy Colin. He took a trip especially because he knew I was a fan of G.I. Joe and the Super 7 figures, and it's a rare carded version of Snake Eyes that's based off of issue 21 of the Real American Hero series. And if anybody's a G.I. Joe fan, it's a very well-known issue. So I don't plan on taking that one out of the package. But lately I had purchased an old G.I. Joe headquarters off of eBay, and I reassembled it. And I have all my Super 7 reaction figures all manning the headquarters. So that's what I've been collecting lately. Unfortunately, no Transformers to report at this time.
That's so cool. Is that issue the silent? Is that the completely silent issue?
Silent interlude. Yeah, there's no.
Yes. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Contain your rage, Daryl. You're up next.
Those two comics at the beginning were intertwined, so I've got a couple G.I. Joe things there. I got a right there. You can just see the tip of it. That's my G.I. Joe whale. I have a whale playset. I always wanted it as a kid, and I finally got access to one as a kid or as an adult, and I put all the figures in it that appear on its box. So it's got like 9 figures in it right now. Cool. But that's it. That's all the G.I. Joe I wanted. I got a couple new figures this week. I got a call from GameStop, or EB Games as I still like to refer to it here in Canada. And they said, well, we've got a pre-order that showed up here for you. Oh, wait, there's 2. I'm like, oh, 2? I don't know whether I can afford 2 this week. But I did. And the first one is Legacy Evolutions Metal Hawk. So this thing has shown up, and it's cool. This is based, as I improperly predicted. It's not based on the G-Axis mold. It's based on the Cyclonus mold. So that's still cool. It still looks good. I haven't taken it out of the box yet, but maybe I will. Maybe I won't. Who knows? But it's cool. I kind of was hoping that the gold would be a little bit more gold. It's kind of looks just like a kind of a puke yellow. But oh well. It's, at least it's not gold plastic and it's not going to break on me that I know of. But give it some time. Maybe it still will. Either way, it's a Metal Hawk, and it's if you don't count the crappy little Power the Primes Metal Hawk that we got, then that's my first official Metal Hawk. The next one I got, I didn't know what size this was going to be, and was astonished to find out that it was leader class. So this thing showed up, and it is Skyquake.
Oh.
So this thing doesn't even have a hole in the box so you can see it. So I'm just showing off the box. But I haven't had a chance this past week, as mine has been absolutely insane. So I just I was only able to pop in there and pick up the boxes of these things. But Skyquake on the back here. This is from Transformers Prime. And this thing looks like a really just a badass character. And it does, in fact, show the combination between Skyquake and Needlenose. So I don't know what that's about, but it does it. So it's not like it's not even a secret combination. It's got to be for something. And a lot of people have speculated it's for like a G2. What's that one?
Dreadwing?
Dreadwing, yeah. I've completely spaced on the name there. But, who knows? We'll see. But Skyquake, and this guy, he looks so cool. Yeah.
Well, we do have Transformers Prime Dreadwing, who will be a repaint of this. I'm speculating that they're going to put out a Transformers Prime Dreadwing, since it's
of
just
course
a
they
simple
will.
repaint.
Yeah, of course they will.
So I guess you can, by way of like cross timeline universes, you've got this Dreadwing matching with that Needlenose to mimic the G2 Dreadwing with Needlenose back in the day or something. I don't know.
Yeah. But it does look pretty good. I'll open this thing eventually. And we talked about it when they first announced it. I do really like, and I showed it off recently, and the original Skyquake's over there. But he's got the design elements from the original. So anyway, it's cool. It's Skyquake.
All right.
Oh, by the way, guys, I do have one collectible that should be coming in this week that I'll share with you. It is a replica of the Rocky Balboa Championship belt. And I'm expecting that to come sometime this week, and I can't wait to have it.
You gonna wear
awesome.
it?
What's that?
You gonna put it on?
Probably.
Yeah.
Check out my Twitter. Maybe I'll have a picture of me with the belt.
You better. You better. Yeah.
We will look forward to that. Check out our interview with Thomas on Transmissions Alt Mode, and you will hear about his love of boxing and Rocky. So stay tuned. All right, that's all for our trips to the store. So let's move on with the rest of the show.
We now return to the Transmissions Podcast.
Okay, so moving on after trips to the store, we've got some convention news. So, of course, TFcon LA happened last weekend. We were all sadly unable to attend, so we got to watch from the sidelines as lots of cool stuff happened at TFcon. One thing that was announced after the last show, but before we recorded this show, they had another exclusive That is the Fans Project Lost Exo Realm Tiger Rex, which is a new color scheme for this. This is a Grimlock design, I believe. Like is this a War for Cybertron design? I'm sorry, which design is this?
It's the Fans Project came out with their Lost Eco Realm, series, and it was kind of loosely based on the War for Cybertron stuff, but it was fully in the Fans Project, kind of style. So they designed this thing, and it's funny because I think Fans Project only exists now to supply TFcon LA or TFcon with exclusives. So they did this unreleased G2 color scheme of Grimlock on this Fans Project Eco Realm T-Rex or Tiger Rex, whatever. I think it looks pretty good. It's neat.
Mm-hmm. I wonder how. I guess I wonder if people got a chance to pick it up, or if they sold out, or if there's going to be more available after the show. I guess we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then we have pictures from the dealer room from the whole weekend. We did have both Robeson and the company doing the Bushujo characters. So we had you can see you've got Optimus Prime, doing the anime, all the Transformers as an anime girls. We already have Optimus Prime and Megatron that have their full designs already, and then we have the Bumblebee prototype there. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Also. Just running through the pictures real quick. So there's a cliff jumper, a third-party cliff jumper, parkour. That third-party Beast Wars Terrorsaur, that's very detailed. I hadn't seen that before.
Mm-hmm. I remember we talked about it a couple shows ago.
Yeah. Let's see. It's this.
It's the fans' hobby.
Yeah. So, the Power Masters, Dreadwind.
These are their Japanese names. So.
Oh yeah, Buster, not Dreadwind. Then Transformers Armada Megatron, or Galvatron, I should say, in the Galvatron colors there. That's Galva Tyranno. Let's see. There's a Rodimus Prime. Here's the Bushujo figures. So there's your Optimus Prime Megatron, and then the prototype for Bumblebee. So you get to see them in person. Looks pretty cool. And let's see. Oh, this Starscream. And the side swipe there. Oh, and it's using the real name. So that's a change from the third party.
So these are licensed though. This is the MDLX stuff.
Oh, okay.
These are model kits, I believe.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
They're 3.0, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're not model kits, but they're from 3.0.
Yeah, so lots of cool stuff showing up on the show floor there. They also had a third party panel, but I mean, we're not going to go through everything here, but it does seem like there was some. It looks like a lot of repeat stuff at the third party panel. I don't think we had any brand new stuff there, but we might go through it quickly on the show next week, and we'll see if there's any highlights. But yeah, it was it's always tough when there's a party and you're not invited. I mean, well, everyone was invited, but we couldn't make it out there. But
we had to have our own party.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And Thomas, thank you for joining us on this party, this little party on Transmissions. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
And I think that takes us to the end of this episode of Transmissions. So Thomas, again, thanks for joining us. Thanks for hanging out with us for the whole week. Like I said, we'll have your full interview on Transmissions Alt Mode, so everyone should definitely check that out. That'll be on Friday. This show is up on Wednesday, so you've got that to look forward to if you're watching this as it goes up. If you were a Donatron, you've already seen the whole thing because you got to watch it live. So I'm just saying, you get that. That's a perk. It's a bonus that comes with it. But yeah, Thomas, anything else you want to plug while we're here before we end the show?
Not really. I'm going to be appearing at Montreal Comic Con in the summer, and hopefully I'll be at TFcon in Orlando in the fall. But yeah, that's about it. And if anybody check me out on social media, my handle's in the screen below, and I'm on Twitter and Instagram.
Cool. And we will have links in the show notes so everyone can check that out. All right. As we end the show, of course, we give a shout out to our Masterpiece Donatrions. Those are the folks who continue to support the show at our highest level on Patreon, which is why we give them a shout out in every episode. So thank you again to John Forex Levingood and Demon Tech 82. Your support is awesome, and we thank you for coming back every month and helping us out. And it looks like I hope you guys are still with us. You got to watch us live for this episode. So thank you. And, you got to see your shout outs live. You guys are awesome. And that will do it for this episode of Transmissions. Thanks everyone for watching and listening. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Later.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Transmissions. If you'd like to join the conversation, travel to our Discord channel at transmissionspodcast.com/Discord. Want some cool Transmission swag? Feast your eyes on our Transmissions gear at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. If you'd like to support our podcast, go to transmissionspodcast.com/support or tell your friends about our show. We'll see you next time.